Okay, so I'd like to show you a very powerful tool that we're usually using in Photoshop that helps make pictures that haven't already been leveled look a lot better. So this is just a generic picture of a couple of footballs that somebody took. When you take a picture with a camera or you scan it in, it's never going to look as good as what your eyes can see. Our eyes can see black blacks and super white whites, but a camera just can't. So let me show you how we do this in Photoshop. Layer, new adjustment layer, and it's called levels. And the reason we do this way in Photoshop is because it doesn't make a permanent change. Now this is called a histogram. And you can see it's a bar graph of the black pixels all the way through the middle grays, and then up here is white. And I'll exaggerate things just so you can see. I'm going to make the pixels to the right of this are being turned into absolute white. And if you go too far, then it's pretty obvious. Usually we bring this white point in to where the graph starts to go up. We can also bring the black in, but the black is actually in pretty good shape. As soon as we start to move it, we lose some detail down in here. So you have to make sure that you're okay with that. This one I would probably just bring it in a little bit. And one of the things I like to do is take this middle value and just wiggle it back and forth, and just looking at the picture, not the number, try and find where I think it looks good. Sometimes I end up exactly in the same spot, but this is a picture that has been leveled. I always check to see if it made a good difference or a bad difference. I'm going to click the little eyeball and turn it off and back on again. And to me, this is going to be looking a lot nicer in the video. Now, instead of going back to Photoshop and doing this and saving the picture again, which is totally acceptable, we can actually do it very quickly in Premiere. What we have to do is switch to this effects workspace. And that has a number of different effects over here. Now, what I like to do also is click on this new custom bin, and the ones that I find that I use a lot, I'll stick them in here so I don't have to hunt them down again. You can easily find levels just by typing the word in there. There are two different levels. We're going to use the adjustment for levels. We're going to drop it right on the picture of the football. I know that's it because I'm looking at it. Now these are a bunch of numbers that you could control, but it's easiest just to minimize. Go to setup. This is really the histogram, and it's not as detailed as the one in Photoshop, but let's remember what we did. We brought this in quite a bit, maybe right to where it starts to go up. Bring the black in, but not too far, just a little bit. And then maybe wiggle this a little bit. The picture's not as big, so you may need to adjust this a couple of times, but that seems to look better. Let's find out when we look at the actual preview. This is one reason to make the preview as big as possible. And this is the equivalent of the eyeball. So I'm going to turn the effect off and back on again. And off and on again. So this particular image did very well. It really seemed to bring out the colors without doing anything too fancy. Now this picture here is very professionally done. We may be able to improve it, but maybe not. Same thing with some of these other pictures. These whites are very, very bright, and the blacks in the background are very black. So we really just, let me see what happens with this one. You may decide, nope, you know what, I'm not going to use it. So let's take a look here. I'm going to bring the black point in a little bit, bring the white point in a little bit, maybe wiggle this a bit, and see if I like the change. So one thing to do is maybe position where you can see more of the picture and turn it before and after. To me, what it does is it takes away this kind of gray overcast that's on a picture that you don't even really notice until it's gone. So you can do this for your pictures. Don't overdo it, but there are many pictures I've seen in student collections that could be vastly improved with a little bit of leveling. Just making those, like, we don't need to see the detail in the sleeve, but it really does kind of make those colors pop a little bit more.